Talk about the Champions League if we can, Rio. 2008 was an all-English final that you played in. We've seen a few years of a bit of a lull of English clubs in the Champions League. Have you seen enough to suggest that there's been a gap that's been bridged now, given the performances of Chelsea, Manchester City and United this season?
Yeah, last season was quite poor, but I think I didn't really expect much again this season, but I think the English teams are now starting to show that they can start to rub shoulders at the top table a little bit, if not all consistently, but they can, on a one-off game, I'd say that our English teams, a couple of them, you wouldn't put money against them. The Manchester Cities of this world, Chelsea very experienced, the way they play in Europe, they had a great result against Atletico Madrid away, and Manchester United obviously have improved dramatically over the last couple of years as well. So I like the look of our team. I think we've got our English teams, I think they've got some talent. It's just experience, I think, is the difference at the moment between us and the top table.
Let's talk Manchester United if we can as well. How important do you feel it is that they do win a title and soon under Jose Mourinho?
When you're a Manchester United player, that's the pressure that comes with it. The history suggests that you win titles, and they've not done that for a number of years now. And the fans want that. The fans have given Jose Mourinho that little bit of time. The club have as well. He's gone out and invested heavily, very well. But now he's got to go and produce. And I think the problem he's got a very, very talented and strong City team as well. And so it's going to be a battle. I believe it will be a battle of the two Manchester clubs.
We saw some comments in the press from Jose this week talking about PSG in fairly glowing terms. Was he right to do that, do you think, to talk about another club as Manchester United manager?
I think that's up to Jose Mourinho. I think he's employed by Man United. I'm sure he's always been very respectful of that. I didn't quite know what he spoke about. I didn't really read it, to be honest with you, so I can't really comment.
What about Spurs? You mentioned you've been impressed with them. Are they genuine title challengers in your opinion?
If Harry Kane stays fit, then yeah. If Harry Kane gets injured, no chance. Because they've got no one to replace him and who's going to get that amount of goals. He's not all Tottenham, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're a one-man team, but to go and win a league, you need a number 9 who's going to be banging in goals. And outside of Harry Kane in that squad, I don't really see anyone else doing it.
Is Harry England's best number 9 since Shearer?
Are you saying he's better than Rooney?
No, I'm just asking if he's as good as
Just what you're implying. You're just implying he's better than Rooney because you've not put Rooney in the conversation. Rooney's the top goal scorer ever.
Is he England's best number 9 since Alan Shearer?
No.
Wayne Rooney's the top man, of course, but how good can Harry Kane be?
That's the difference. I spoke about Harry Kane a while ago on social media and on TV with BT Sport, doing Champions League football, saying that he can be talked about at this point in time in terms of goals alone with Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, because he has the same number of goals as them guys. Now, I'm not saying he's comparable to them as players, because he isn't. They've been doing it for 10, 12, 13 years at the top level. Put himself up there as the top goal scorer in Europe, and so he can be talked about at them levels, but he's got a long way to go. Greatness comes with consistency, and as I said, he's been top goal scorer in England for a couple of years. Now he's at Champions League, he's starting to do very well there. I think we have to give him time to prove himself, because we've all seen far too often some strikers come in, blow the league away, blow a Champions League season away, 1 or 2 years, and don't see him again. And they're not spoken about. I don't believe Harry Kane's going to be like that, but he needs the time to do that.
Big test for them next summer, the FIFA World Cup over in Russia. England's chances, are you an optimist or a bit like a Scotsman, a pessimist?
Do you think they've made improvements under Gareth Southgate?
I think we'll have to wait and see. I think he's going to be judged on tournaments. I think an England manager to be judged on a qualifying campaign can't be done, because there's too many teams out there with no chance of winning really. So I think when you get to a tournament and we come up against proper players, that's when you can judge our team and our players.
Any ambitions for you to move into management one day?
Right now, at this moment, no. But I think in time, football changes, the landscape changes, and I could well see that changing, because I do love being around playing football. I do love getting on the pitch again and putting your boots on and coaching young kids. But also, you can see sometimes when you sit there, I'd love to do it with the senior teams and stuff. But time will tell.